Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, everybody, Charles here, and welcome to another great show. Now, this show is going to be a little different. Today, I thought, you know something? It's a holiday. We need to spice it up. So I need to bring not one punch, but two punches to the show. Double trouble. And you'll see what I'm talking about right now. Please welcome to the show my co-host for today. All right. Now, just to let everybody know, you're not seeing doubles. You're not seeing, well, are you seeing doubles? Is how it's working? Hi, ladies. How you doing?
We're doing great. How are you?
I'm so glad that you could join us on the show today.
We're happy to be here, to be honest.
All right. So tell us who you are and where you're from.
Okay, I'll start off. Yeah. So my name is Sina Tufaha, and your name is?
My name is Karen Tufaha. We're twins.
Yeah, and we're from Lebanon.
And we're both interns at Immigrant Women in Business.
Nice to have you. Nice to have you. Now, today's show is really exciting because we have a special guest that's been here before, but we're doing things a little different today. So do you want to introduce our special guest for today?
Sure, why not? So we have with us our new special guest, which is Peter Ratnikov, and he's a specialist in the cryptocurrency industry. Peter, would you like to tell us more a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Welcome, Peter, to the show. Peter, what's going on, my friend?
Everything's wonderful.
That's good. That's good. See, look, you got like three today, man. You know, I hope you're ready for this because I think they're coming with some star power, asking some questions for you. You ready?
Born ready.
All right, so let's go. So the first question she asked you is, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So yeah, I'm a serial entrepreneur from a young age. Both my parents had different kinds of businesses. Very young. First job was 11. First business was at 14. At 16, I started making six figures in high school. So I was doing better than most of my teachers. So it's kind of hard to take mainstream society too seriously. Kind of didn't see many opportunities in the corporate and government sector for myself in my 20s. So I got into DJing and got paid to party and enjoy life. And then this wonderful thing called Bitcoin and cryptocurrency came around. And I thought it was too good to be true. I said, there's no way this can help so many people and actually not be controlled by the people that currently control our monetary system. But it was true. There's actually an option for us to interact online with each other without having to ask permission from governments and companies, and to use our own wealth and to use our own resources. So it's exciting. I share the message. And yeah, it's just a little nutshell of why I do crypto and why I love it.
All right, so we know that you have a new project coming up. It's called 888club.eth. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure for all those cryptocurrency lovers out there, they're going to love this project. And we all want to know more about this project. So could you start off and tell us about this project and what it stands for and how it works?
So yeah, I'll give a little background on the concept first before I go specifically to the project. So why I think it's important to have more options in society, it's just better, right? So back in the day, our original form of money there's older forms, but the oldest form of money that we still use was gold. And why gold was so good was it didn't matter if you trusted the person that you're doing business with. If you heat up the gold to a certain temperature, it's either gold or it's not, right? Yeah. So that was a great thing to have. Of course, to have a way to interact where, yes, trust is great, but it's not needed in the form of that transaction. So we didn't have that for a long time till the internet. When the internet came around, it was a way of sharing information where if you shut down one company, one group of people, one government, whatever the case may be, the internet's still going to function. It's a form of information that we're sharing with each other. And again, it's not about the trusting the platform. You know that it's there and it's not being corrupted by any one institution. That's what makes the internet so special. It was actually someone that decided to make it open source, meaning that everyone could use it instead of using it as a company. Because if it got formed as a corporation, it wouldn't be the channel of information that it is today. So then we had Bitcoin, which is, I'll explain, as a financial way of interacting online, again, without having to ask permission. And more importantly, it doesn't matter if you trust a person or not. I know it sounds to the new people out there, there's so many scams in Bitcoin, but if you use the actual core technology, it's like you can get scammed with checks, you can get scammed with credit cards, you can get scammed with cash. So of course you get scammed with Bitcoin as well, but the actual core technology if you understand it, is amazing in the sense of if you get to that level, it doesn't matter if you trust a person or not. You can verify yourself, just like instead of having to heat up gold, which is a great to have an option, but it's kind of complicated. You can just go on a one of many ledgers on the internet, which is kind of on its own entity, not being corrupted. So you go on a platform that's neutral and see, oh, verify, wow, this is actually a transaction that's happening. I could verify myself. Good luck verifying your bank transactions or your email transfers. Yeah, they show up, but you have no clue what's happening on the back end. So this is a technology that lets people interact with people, with each other, with less interference. So this platform, 888club.eth, is taking it to the next level in the sense of we've had, like I talked about the internet, we've had financial institutions, and this technology, when it came out originally, if you see Bitcoin, Ethereum behind me, Ethereum is the second biggest platform in cryptocurrency, and it came out 2015, 16 was the launch, I believe.
Okay.
And the first thing that everyone was excited for, the first platform that was built for smart contracts was also actually built to do DAOs, which is a decentralized autonomous organization. Or
We were
sorry,
just
why?
asking you about this.
Yeah, so and people understand the importance of it. Why I started with that rant. It's a way of using a smart contract without having human interference. So meaning there's no group of people, there's no company that you can put down to have it affected. So the vision on Ethereum originally was, let's launch a smart contract called the DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, or an organization that's run on smart contracts for the newer people in crypto. But there was a hack in the main network of this new platform. And because there's so much excitement in the early days, and this hack was so major, affected the whole network, they kind of did something that was unconventional. Like if we're saying that smart contracts are supposed to be the new form of gold, the verification, they actually went back and reversed the history and changed the hack, which in like is controversial, especially back then. So what they did though to keep it more genuine is they kept the original chain, which was the hacked one, which the coders stopped developing on, but it's still there. It's called Ethereum Classic. And then we have the modern Ethereum. But I guess because of this big scare of the original DAO, people kind of lost the excitement. I guess they thought the technology wasn't there yet at the point, and maybe it wasn't 7 years ago. So from there, we went to having ICOs, which is initial coin offerings, which is similar to IPO, initial public offering. It's a decentralized way to crowdfund, right? So we got excited about that. And down the road, we started making decentralized finance, ways to compete with banks and exchanges like stock exchanges in the cryptoverse that are not owned by certain people. And then we have this NFT craze, which is a form of one digital assets, and people applied it to art and many other things in gaming and such. So this has been a progression, but people kind of stopped getting excited about the DAOs, which was the original vision of this technology past Bitcoin. So now that people kind of have lost the fire, there is DAOs, but they're not true. The goal, they have a small group of people or organization that runs them, and if something were to happen to them, that DAO would go away. So so people understand the importance of having ways of us interacting without being interfered on. That's why the vision of the original DAOs was so exciting for people. It's a way for us to internationally communicate, not just information, not just with finances, but actually start for-profit companies, non-profit, partnerships in business, partnerships in gaming, partnerships in fun, whatever, without having to trust the person, just verify that actually everything makes sense. So 888club.eth is the vision is to have a form of a DAO that's based on voting, and that's there for the people that all join are members. Everyone gets an equal vote. And the whole purpose of it is to have a way to show up a platform that could function without having to be a corporation or some kind of thing that needs to be micromanaged. Let's actually build infrastructures that are ran with or without human involvement, in the sense of like, if humans want to add to it, let's make it better, but let's not have it to be open to corruption like a lot of things have been in the more current history.
Definitely.
And how do you aim at it becoming a true DAO? What are the strategies or the methods that you will implement for it to become a true organization with no human interference whatsoever.
And for people to trust it as well, since you said that 7 years ago, people didn't have this trust.
Well, I think people didn't have the trust in the technology yet, especially when it came to things outside of finance. But I think because we had this ICO and this DeFi and NFT 3 waves of crazes, I think the technology has proven itself enough that now it's on a different point of conversation. People now trust the technology. They understand that, okay, at this point, they're not going to go back and reverse a blockchain of that size. I don't even think it's possible anymore, especially with platforms like Ethereum, Solana, Polkadot, like the big platforms. They're starting to trust the contract, but people haven't went out of their way to relaunch DAOs because there is a lot of complication, especially at the start. It's not going to be a DAO at the start. So we have a 2 to 3 year business model, which might take longer to actually implement. How many votes? Like, yes, you could have 1,000 people, but doesn't mean 1,000 people are going to vote. So we got to decide through math and through experiences how many numbers, like what makes sense before we push it through. Do we need 17% of votes? Do we need 5%, 50%? So these are all numbers that we have from other platforms that we could study, but you got to actually go through the process itself. And within the ecosystem you're working with, you got to see what are the true numbers. And once you get to the point where, like, okay, we see what are the numbers for it to change, and there's obviously more human involvement at this level of it. But eventually, once we start making it more clear and we start having the process, like, okay, the numbers start making sense, everyone knows what they're doing, we start minimizing the human involvement. And the ultimate goal is to have something that everyone in the organization agrees with, saying, okay, we want to invest in these things. And down the road, it doesn't have to be just investing. It could go much further with this technology. But the purpose of it will be, okay, once we get to that level, let's leave just a coder, someone that needs to update the platform, the smart contract every 3 months, 6 months, a year, depending on the case. And that person could be interchanged because we can vote to have them replaced as the organization. So the end goal is going to be to have one employee left who's an employee who's not actually a member, who's just updating the code that we voted on. And that would be the last human involvement in a project. So if anything happened to any of the people who were the original members, as long as there's enough people to maintain those votes, which we're going to set the structure, it's going to keep going and keep going. It doesn't matter if you eliminate certain people, they get sick, they go away, whatever, it will still function. And that's the purpose of 888club.eth, to actually start building, show by example of a DAO that could be built, and encourage people to build more different kinds of DAO in the space.
All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to learn a little bit more and actually look at the website to get more involved. Don't go nowhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Immigrant Women in Business, IWB, is a non-profit organization bringing together women from over 50 different countries around the globe. These women have now made Canada their home and share a common goal of providing value to their new sisters. Our motto of "We are stronger together" resonates with all members, and with a diverse membership of business leaders, entrepreneurs and community builders, our goal is to make Canada better and provide guidance and leadership to those that follow.
Yes, we are back live. And before we went to break, we said we're going to dive more into it. I know the ladies have more questions for you. So what I'm going to do is, as they're asking you questions, I'm just going to pop this new website up and continue from there. So go ahead, ladies.
Okay, so one of my questions is, and I think this question is very important, why do you think creating a DAO, and specifically the 888club.eth, is important for our future and this generation?
Yeah, go back to like the gold example, right? Why it was around for so long is because it didn't need to be, it could be verified, right? So you trust the actual, I guess, metal in this case, when we're talking about gold. In this case, would be the technology, right? So as someone that's been in the space as long as I have and seen all the waves, if there's lots of DAOs that are happening, we wouldn't be talking about 888club.eth. It would be like, cool, like another wave, like amazing. So to make it the simplest as possible, we're keeping it to a financial model to begin with. But why it's so important to have these technologies is you could start having much more interesting and dynamic ways of interacting with us through information, through actual physical, through digital, through the metaverses that are coming, things of that nature. It's going to open so many doors where you want to make sure that you're actually trusting things that you're putting your energy and time into. Time is the new form of current, right? And a lot of people that don't have a lot of numbers in their screen, they don't realize that all these massive corporations are treating their time as their income. Like the more attention you spend on a certain app, on a certain platform, that's metadata that they're using to enhance their company. So we need to realize the value of our time. So if we could start channeling our thoughts, opinions, emotions, whatever the case may be, our visions through platforms that are actually designed to benefit us, or like Fubu used to say, for us, by us. Let's actually have things that are made for us, not algorithms that let's use a platform that's free, give them all of our information, and hope they don't do nothing vicious with it or nothing. Whether they do something vicious or not, they're definitely not going to do nothing to better our lives with our information. That's for them. They're collecting the data. So I think it's time for us, especially as a younger generation, to realize how valuable our energy, our time, and our digital content is. We shouldn't just be giving away our digital content. So not only from the future of potential social media to, again, we talked about nonprofits very quickly. This could start a trend of actual non-corruption in so many different industries that's missing right now. That's why I think it's really important. And human beings are money driven a lot when they're not in a good financial place. So that's why we're starting with a very understandable model that's based on finances. But it's more exciting to me to have this proof of concept rolled out across massive industries as the years flow out. And that's the real excitement for me.
All right. So I also read online that the main goal of this project or this new platform is to generate passive gains for long-term growth. How would that work? What are your methods? I read that there's something involving NFT or NFT2, and I'm not really familiar with that. So could you please explain it?
Okay, so the actual main one to understand is, we mentioned it very quickly, decentralized finance. DeFi is what they call it in short form. So just think about a place you would trade your stocks traditionally through a bank or through a company like Wealthsimple. And there's lots of cryptocurrency companies like the Coinbases and the Binances that focus on crypto, but they have a place that they're resident. They have an owner. They have rules that they're following in a certain region. So through decentralized finance, you've had these, through smart contracts, people have launched ways to actually trade and trade, whether it be different kinds of crypto assets. And now they're getting more diverse, and you could actually, through DeFi, buy traditional stocks through DeFi play using crypto. So you could own Tesla stocks in traditional markets without having to register. And we take for granted that there's only about a couple billion people out of the 7 that even have access to things like this. What about the other 5 billion people? What if they are doing okay financially and want to diversify? They can't operate in our current banking system. So DeFi was created through smart contracts to create this option for people. And how it gets funded is people voluntarily, like myself, yourselves, for example, could take our resources or our digital finances in the form of whatever crypto may be and lock it in to give liquidity, meaning to give more numbers or more value to the platform while people are using it. And they actually give you interest for this. So the more established platforms might only give you 5-7% a year, maybe a little bit more. But the ones that are newer and higher riskier, there's platforms offering you 10% a month. Some of them are offering 100, and it gets kind of scammy at that point. But there's so many different levels of generating cash flow passively, or meaning generating interest off having DeFi. And when you put your resources in it, they give you back interest. When it comes to NFTs, so people understand, NFTs just mean one of one digital assets. So Bitcoin has 21 million units that are interchangeable. They're digitally rare, but they're like a dollar bill. The one could switch with the other. They have their own code, but the purpose is there's no really uniqueness outside of its number being rare. Whereas an NFT is kind of more a digital uniqueness, right? So a picture, like my opinion of where NFTs can go is, I think everyone's social media post in the future should be NFTs. Every single post you make is your own NFT that you own. Doesn't mean you're going to make money off of it, but you own the rights to it. Not a big monopoly conglomerate that if they want to just take it off the internet because they feel like you made a post that's inappropriate to them, which might have been actually very insightful for your community, right? So this is where I think, and we're calling NFT 2.0 because we want to show an example of, look, NFTs just mean something digitally one of one. So we're building our smart contract to be a form of almost like a complex NFT. It's really like a DAO. That's what they call it. But so people understand, why I call it 2.0 is because we're actually going to own all these assets and choose who's using them. So how you're going to earn the passive income is by having a voting structure and a team of a lot of professional people in crypto that understand the space that are going to be only presenting good options. So I'm sure some will be better than others, but there'll be no scammy or questionable things, because as soon as one person that's maybe newer to the group presents it, there's a bunch of veteran people who've been in crypto 5+ years that are going to say, no, this is not good for X, Y, and Z reason, and we move it aside. So almost all the options that we're going to be presenting in this organization are going to be pre-qualified based on just on experience and people working in the industry. So between the investing in DeFi projects, NFTs, how you get also income from that is there's a lot of NFTs that give you, because they're very established through like the right organization launched it or the right team, whatever the case may be. So when you get these more expensive ones, the ones that are the top tier, maybe not accessible to the average person working hard, like some of these are 10,000, 100,000, some are millions, but there's tons that are $100,000+, and that maybe not accessible for the average person. But the ones that are at that level, not all of them, but the specific ones that we would be looking into, they give you rewards every week, month, year, based, it's not year, it's usually more often, but the ones who would be getting involved give you some kind of rewards based on whether it be another coin, other NFT drops because of it. So what the platform would do in that case is take the profits from the NFTs we have, because the DeFi is self-explanatory. You're making 10% a year or 10% a month, depending on the platform. When it comes with the NFT play, it's going to be whatever comes in. We'll also take the profits from that, or we'll vote and decide, hey, maybe we want to keep this limited drop NFT. Do we want to sell it as an organization and put more passive income, or are we going to hold on to this because maybe it'll have more value down the road? But this is all part of this excitement of this DAO of let's set up this infrastructure so we're deciding as a bunch of free-minded intellectual human beings and not being like, oh, you have to do this or this. It's like, no, let us create what we want to in this new form of interacting with each other.
Right. So some people that are watching us right now may be actually interested in investing in this club. So how would you say they will be able to do so? And we saw on the website that according to the 888 club.eth, so only 888 people can be able to invest in this club. So what is the selection process based on?
So it's like anyone is welcome to join. It's kind of just involves a little bit of crypto know-how to actually get involved. Or if somebody's completely new to crypto and is excited, he could reach out to one of the team leaders and get guided through. But the process would be opening a .eth address, which is important. It's like opening a .com in the early 90s, 2000s. People didn't understand it, but it's not it's not very complicated. It's copy, paste, a few things. So for someone to join the 888 club.eth, they need to have a .eth address, which is like your version of a website on Ethereum. It doesn't have to be built out. You just have to have that domain. And with that domain is you enter with one Ethereum. And if people choose to do more than one Ethereum, just give you today a perspective is about $1,400 US, $500 US. Right now, the highest it's ever been is about $4,500, and it was about less than $1,000 earlier this month, to give people a perspective of what kind of numbers we're talking. So it's not a huge financial commitment, but if anybody wants to go several Ethereum, they're only going to get one vote per .eth address. So of course, there's a chance if somebody wanted to be malicious, they could get a bunch of .eth address and sway the votes. But we're keeping this a smaller number to 888 because it's a test pilot, and we want to make sure things run smoothly. And if there is any kind of malicious actors, we'll learn for this. We'll update the code. We'll minimize it. But that's what it takes. It's just knowing how to use crypto on a basic form. And if anyone doesn't, here's your opportunity for free to learn from some professionals to show you how to do some advanced, not complicated, just more advanced than the average person. Just like if you knew how to send an email in 96, I wouldn't say that would make you advanced today. But if in the late 90s, you knew how to send emails and set up .coms, you were pretty trendy. So same with this. Knowing how to set up a .eth, it's not complicated by any means. It's a new skill set. So whether you figure out yourself with a tutorial online, you reach out to someone and we show you how to open a .eth. Now also as a business owner or as a salesperson or even as a human being to have options, that .eth address also makes it a way to receive payment for all your businesses or life or donations, whatever the case may be. So it's not like you're opening a .eth just for us. It will actually benefit you as a human owning a .eth address for yourself. So that's the first step. And then we need a one Ethereum minimum. And the vision of the platform is like, how much value could you get out of 1 ETH on your own, right? Imagine you went to try to do a bunch of DeFi plays and you tried to buy certain NFTs. You wouldn't get very far with 1 Ethereum. Like your $1,500 spread out. But when you have at today's value, that would be a little over $1 million in US terms. But now you have a team of people deciding, hey, what do we want to do with this big fund? And we can make better decisions. When you have less resources, it's hard to make, you're chasing things that don't make, you might take the riskier play because you know what, like I have such a small amount in, let me take this riskier play. And that's how you end up losing most of the time in anything in life, not just in crypto. So I think it's important to have a bigger infrastructure for something like this, especially for the newcomers. It's like, come and learn the space slowly. Doesn't mean you have to be involved. If you want to be involved, great. If you want to just pay attention, you're going to be more connected. Like if you join a social media platform, sure, you could get information there as well. But as soon as you actually put your time and your finances into something, human beings seem to take it a lot differently. All of a sudden, when you have your time and your finances in, it's going to make you more pay attention and probably make you learn and study it more. And by being involved with a platform like this, it could take you on your journey much beyond what we're doing as a team. It can help you learn the technology. It can help you learn a new asset class. Or if you know it somewhat, it can help you expand your mind in it. And then you could do your own side ventures, projects based on the information that you're learning and participating in organization like this. So of course, again, you could just join a Telegram group or a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group, but how emotionally attached are you going to be? Here's something that's going to help you learn to use a new technology, actually give you your own voting rights and say in something that's very trendy and happening. So I think these are all the key features of launching something like this.
All right. I just have one question. I was trying to share my screen to show the website. Can you see it, or am I having difficulties? Okay.
No,
All right, we're gonna go to the website right now. There it is.
Yeah.
We talked about it earlier. So tell us a little bit more about how you can connect and a little bit more about this beautiful website. I went through it myself, and this is looking beautiful, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So right now, Twitter is probably the best way on a public platform to get a hold of us. In the sense of we're doing live for one point, we're doing every single day. We're doing live to air shows. I would make an appearance on a big part of them. So reaching out to Twitter, even through DM, we chose to keep this organic. Like through our network, we have a great team of people, and we could have done this privately and not done it public and funded the whole thing if that was the ultimate goal, right? So we wanted to actually do this organically, like without spending marketing dollars. Let's actually put some information out there, some content, and let's see if the great minds of crypto or the free thinkers of the up and coming new class decide, hey, let's be part of something. It's easy for us to influx a few $1,000s to marketing and fill the project, but we kind of want to do it organically. So our Twitter's up to maybe a couple hundred followers now, but we didn't run a single ad. We didn't have a single influencer come. We just dropped information, retweeted to the right places, and started to get some momentum. So we're doing this very organically. Near the end, if we don't fill the fund, we'll see the core group of people that originally started and the people that joined. We might have a vote and decide, hey, do we want to run an ad and get the masses in here and fill up the project? Or do we want to run this on a smaller scale? But this is a very great time to be part of something new, exciting, and you're actually going to be on the ground level experiencing it. It's one thing to join a big, massive organization once it's established. And of course, you could always learn in that situation. But here's something being formed as we speak. And not just this specific one. This is a concept that needs to be built out more broadly. And we're just setting an example, one of many of us, to show people, hey, let's do more of this, right? Let's have more options for human beings. So we're excited to let anyone that's a little bit crypto savvy or wants to become more crypto savvy to get involved. And that's our ultimate goal here. Yes, of course, there's going to be a financial model and you'll be rewarded financially down the road. And there's crazy benefits to that. But that's not why I'm so passionate about it. That's just a bonus to me. This is a proof of concept that could actually help so many people once we apply it to many more places. So of course, let's do it with something that's more basic, mathematics, finance to start. But if this proof of concept could start expanding on other models, this is going to be one of the best things for humanity. This is the way we're going to start structuring many of our businesses, profits. And then down the road, we can start doing real estate and owning things in the metaverse without having to ask anyone permission. We would just choose to do this on our own terms. So this is also in line with a lot of trends that are happening right now. So again, being part of our organization that's going to be on top of what's happening technological wise for the years to come, that's something always to be proud of and be excited about.
All right. Well, listen, my friend, it's been an honor to have you on the show and have you ladies do such a great job. Now, here's the thing, too. Tell them one more time about where they can find you on the Twitter, how often you're going to be going out and giving them messages.
Yeah, so they could DM, and we actually have a correspondent member that's responding to everything, and she could update you when our next AMA is, ask me anything, or our next podcast that we're doing, or we do, like I said, at least a few times a week, we go live on air on Twitter, and this would be just literally like there's probably a half dozen of us that started. There's more than a dozen, but a dozen active members that are actually participating. So at any given tweeter, we could have 3, 4 of us, 6, 8 of us in some cases. So we're actually very out there, right? I'm one of the few people that's choosing to use my name publicly, but everybody else, whether they use a pseudonym online, they're very accessible. And they're not using it to be malicious. They're doing it just for some people don't like to be in the limelight, right? But you could actually talk to them, get them on the phone, have a genuine connection. The messages are not bots, it's actually people. So again, Twitter is the best place right now to actually reach out to us and get the most up-to-date and fastest information. Down the road, as we build out, I'm sure we'll have a Telegram group. The site might be more interactive, but that's the best way right now to get a hold of us.
All right. Now, everybody, if you always want to know how to get the coins, there they are. It's all about getting those coins right there. And he's telling you how to do it. So if you want those coins in your pocket, go to the website. Now, here's the thing. Why waste them? All these coins could be in your pocket, into your hands, but you're not doing it. So what you got to do? Act now. Give him a call. Go to his website and find out how you can get these coins in your pocket. Thanks, everybody. Like I always say, you didn't have to watch, but I'm so glad that you did. If you learned something, tell a friend. We'll see you next time, everyone.
Has come to an end, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like,